What will happen if we don't deal with financial inequality? I think I've covered this. Very quick total collapse. What should we do about probable financial collapse? Join the movement, spread the word, and buy physical gold and silver. What can we do about environmental issues? Again, take back the power the government holds over you, then address it with new technology and helping other countries in mind. Can modern government continue to exist as it is now? It may. However, due to right and left-wing factions, it is quite problematic. It serves itself and its own agenda far more than it serves us. It is unfair and maintains a greater advantage for the elite. Why are so many seeking to replace one power with another that still keeps power from the people's hands? They have no other way, as they don't know that there are other ways. Besides, it's easy to just vote for the two sides that now exist. Creating a more equitable solution isn't easy, as it takes effort, and we by nature are lazy. Remember, these changes can't happen till they're supported by the majority. How do we change representative democracy to true democracy? I ask everyone and anyone who supports these ideas and wants to stand up and run for a seat in any election to do so as a Reformation Independent Democrat. This is not a party, but rather a group of independents running with the same goal in mind: to reform representative politics into true individual democracy. Once in enough seats to gain power in a country, their mandated agenda is to set up a new system by changing their constitution to allow all people to vote on each issue, rather than a person who is supposedly going to represent them by arranging internet voting on issues. At that stage, anyone can vote on as many or as few issues as they like. What can we do if we don't want to run for a seat? Vote for the Reformation Democrat, Independent, running in your electorate. How will these agendas be managed once the independents have enough power to present constitutional change? We will still need people in major government seats, though levels of government and the number of members will change dramatically. Most democratic governments have two levels of parliamentary power, two houses. One is usually the Senate and the other has differing names with countries, example, Congress or House of Representatives. These will be removed except for those seats of senior office, the different department heads, example, Minister of Education or Minister of Defence, etc. So we have reduced hundreds of members to less than 50, as many as there are departments. The President or Prime Minister would still be in a senior role for this new governing board. It's now a board of ministers, as they are not representing a constituency. Any citizen may run for a seat on the board from anywhere in the country and will be voted in by the people, like a normal election, but can come from anywhere, as they don't represent a certain location. They're just managing a department. However, to run for a seat will require a level of experience. A person running for legal positions must have legal qualification. Defence should come from senior ranked military, finance from accountants, welfare from social workers, but also highly experienced. A number should be decided as how many can run for each department. 5 to 10 would probably be best, and the top 5 to 10 applicants would then be registered for a vote. Once a person has a seat for a set period of time, say 5 to 8 years, then they still don't have the power to manage it merely as they wish, but are responsible for gathering any concerns and ideas the public presents and create methodologies and systems to present back to the public on the government website for a vote of 1, if this change should occur at all, and 2, which model should be used if a change has been approved. This is just a basic format I'm offering here, and I have more details as possibilities which aren't highly important, as each government can be set up in whichever way their people see fit. I'm not offering an exact system, as the system must be chosen by the people once Reformation Independent Democrats have the majority. Why do I call them Reformation Independent Democrats? They are independent of parties seeking to reform representative democracy into real democracy, where the people set the agenda and systems of government. Are there other answers to deal with sex, religion, race, and social injustices? There may be, but as I'm unaware of them, this is all I can offer. If you know of a better way, please tell us, as the main point here is to implement the best methods to achieve the best outcome for all. Can other movements like Occupy make a difference? Occupy made some very small improvements. They at least made governments think of public concerns a little more. Occupy isn't totally over. They still do meet and protest, but it's now so small that they only meet in Switzerland on the 17th of September every year. Because they're so small now and never gained the interest of the majority, their effect is minimal. Why did Occupy dry up and seem to disappear? A protest of any kind can't maintain a level. It will either expand till change is made by it, or it will diminish to a very small group, like Occupy has, or non-existence. Occupy never really met its goals, but was facing a grow or die situation. The protests grew, but with missing keys, and without such keys, were destined to diminish. To maintain growth, they needed to be like the transformation of India with Mahatma Gandhi. What were the differences? Key 1. In India, there was a very common cause and goal. Almost all Indians wanted the change. With Occupy, more than 50% of the people didn't care. They never became the majority. Key 2. India had a strong mandate. There was a single issue with a simple answer. You need to promote with a clear, simple agenda that doesn't cover too many issues. Key 3. They also had a strong leader and leadership team. There was a single voice, Gandhi, who had a team of other senior protesters who could stand up in his place if there was a need. So, the peaceful revolution of India only grew in momentum due to its support of the majority, key 1, common knowledge of its single goal, key 2, and a strong leadership, key 3. Can we have this kind of momentum like India? Yes. Occupy drew a lot of attention but didn't have a clear vision, strong leadership, or the support of the majority, especially as many weren't sure of their goals. So I propose the agenda of political change by both protest and vote, and that political change is for real independent democracy, which has a secondary set of lesser agendas being unbiased media, security from fraud, an equitable financial system, and improved equality. Then I propose viral expansion by spreading the word. Now the agenda is set. Finally, I propose a strong leadership team through the election of their peers, all who want these changes. Now, I will not demand leadership because I'm promoting this. I will seek to be elected as a leader with any others who also believe their leadership can bring these changes, because I may not be the best leader. I'm the founder by writing this and recording this now and spreading the initial word, but others can rally support better than me, which is the first thing a leader needs. However, we can choose a leader at an appropriate time, which I suggest should be the 17th of September 2024. Also, I ask you and everyone interested to hold a rally in the most central park or square of your nearest city every year on the 17th of September from 2025 onwards, and that date is to honour Occupy and previous movements, as they chose that date from previous movements also. Unlike Occupy, we will have a single voice, as we will have nominated speakers promoting the same agenda. The many leaders of Occupy all had differing opinions, as there were no particular agendas or methods to choose a leader. It was too chaotic. Can we have true freedom? Mostly, but not total freedom, where any person can do anything they want. That is simply dangerous for the world. Should anyone have the right to press a button and send out a nuclear weapon just because they want to? We don't have that kind of freedom, and we should not have those kinds of freedoms. But should all people have the freedom to dictate the direction of the world by true total democracy, where instead of voting for a person, they have the right to vote on every single issue, if they choose? Yes, we can have the freedom of choice by democratic majority rule. What's happening now? We think we have unlimited economic growth and technological development driven by the expanding material wants. But that growth has a breaking point. Banks are relying on the system as it is, and all the free money the reserves give them. It's not actually free, and the cost is greater than you'd think, as in all reality it's based on growing debt, not growing resources or anything like that. Currency is losing its value quicker and is being propped up by constantly higher amounts being poured into the economy. People are starting to buy as much precious metal, gold, silver primarily, as they can, or they're investing in crypto. Crypto has a life of its own and is mostly growing, but has a similar issue, even greater than the currency balloon. There is little stopping the roller coaster of crypto from bursting like the fake currency we use. It's like investing in the mark instead of the dollar. It's just another currency that has no substantial backing in most cases. These are problematic and can't last forever. It's just a question of when one or another bursts, as it's very likely that when one bursts, there will be a very quick chain reaction and all fiat, fake currencies will burst and be worthless overnight, Like the German mark early last century, every day it was worth half of what it was the day before. At least it seemed that way, as it only took a short while for people to start carrying it in wheelbarrows in large denominations, and still the wheelbarrow was worth far more than the load of currency it carried, which would only be a few days of food. When that happens, in all but no time, people are wheeling around barrows full of $100 notes, and those thousands of notes can only buy a little food, as in a few days food costs over hundreds of thousands of dollars. Don't stop here and say, no, it can't happen. Again, it has happened before and will happen. Every currency is likely to follow very quickly, including crypto. When it happens to one major currency, the dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen, the yuan, or maybe even Bitcoin, the rest will follow. Now, there may still be one or two recessions. Who knows? 4 or 5 maybe, before the total collapse. But many expect a total collapse in the next 20 years. There are multiple reasons for this, the energy crisis, etc. But one form of currency will likely boom because of it: metals, gold and silver. As fiat or fake currencies grow weak, gold, silver, and these days some other precious metals, gain value at least the same rate. If a major currency causes a collapse in all, and they reduce by, let's say, 30% a day, gold and silver will grow at least 30% a day, and likely more, as they are still the foundation of money and far rarer than you'd think. Compared to the number of people in the world, if all the gold in the world above ground was divided among the people in China alone, they wouldn't have 1 ounce each. In all the people of the world, just a couple of grams, maybe, as I don't recall the exact figure. So, when money is worthless, 1 ounce of gold or 50 to 70 ounces of silver is likely enough to buy a house worth $300,000 now. What about rare collectible coins? The metal value will be more than the collectability value. A rare $200,000 coin may still be worth $200,000 if that's the value of gold or silver in it. What of other collectible items? Let's say an authentic letter from George Washington, signed in his hand. It may buy you a car now, but as people won't have money for bread, they'd give you a car for half a loaf of bread. Then it too would maybe buy a loaf of bread. The only thing you can trust for sure, even in JP Morgan's eyes, is gold and silver. And trust for sure? Well, there is an ever so slight chance they too may fail, but 99.9% chance they won't fail when everything else has. The power balance isn't being addressed, and without doing so, we'll keep heading down to a point when major chaos breaks out. This means the financial systems will continue as they are till they break. Equality will slowly change, and those who deserve it more will be last to gain it. And those who have fought for equality for a long time, who now have it, like the LGBTQI plus community, will continue to gain more than equality. In many ways, they've already causing inequality in their favour. In other areas where we face trouble, like data security and environmental issues, things are getting worse, not better. We even have a new trend of couples rushing to romance and becoming partners quicker to avoid many bills. The rate of decline towards total chaos is increasing daily on all fronts. All these factors and others, mentioned or not, are causing each other issue to increase constantly quicker. If, for example, a person is suffering financially, they carry their discontent with them and are likely to expel it in other areas. They may shout abuse towards a Black Lives Matter rally due more to their discontent rather than their disagreement. Those at the rally face more abuse than if the first person had fewer financial troubles, and they then, enraged even more, may become violent, attacking a white group which happens to be female, who then claim harassment even more and take their discontent to a church which feeds off it and verbally attack an LGBTQI plus group. And all of the discontent, now rage, in all these groups causes them to take actions with less thought and open themselves up to increased likelihood of scammers ripping them off, etc. Discontent is infectious. Anger is far more powerful than love. Issues spread virally, not just within themselves, but overflowing to other issues, the spread of which increases constantly. If nothing is done to reduce this rather than propel it, total chaos is imminent, and anarchy will rule.